this video, what we're gonna be diving into is really figuring out and dialing in your business model and thinking about how you're gonna be. Now that we've packaged up the services, how are you gonna be going out there and charging for them? So let's look at the different options that they're available, right? First, we got an hourly rate. Then after that, we kind of got like a project or like a flat fee. Then we got, if you're in the media or digital media space, digital marketing, whatever it might be, is a percentage of the ad spend, or we've also got a retainer. So let's kind of break them up and divide and conquer. The first thing that we've got is an hourly rate. This is generally where a lot of consultants start. It's just kind of charging how many hours it takes them to do certain tasks. Now, the advantage of this is that you get the money straight out the gate, right? And a consulting business is a cash flow business. So you really want to be looking at obviously making that money immediately, because you're gonna be living and dying by that cash flow in the early days. However, the hourly rate model is definitely a model that is not really the first thing that I would suggest kind of gravitating towards. And the reason for that is that, the way that I look at it is you really want to think about, how much value that you create to that client. And that's where you want to start, is how much is it worth? How big of a problem is this for that person experiencing, and what will they be willing to spend in order to solve that problem in their business? So the first way that I look at it is I don't sell time, I sell value. And what I mean by that is that I really want to look at it, okay, this is the desired outcome that that person is looking to achieve, and how much is it worth for them, and not how long is it gonna take me in order to solve that problem, but how quickly and efficiently can I do that, and how should I be rewarded and compensated for that? So a quick rule of thumb is that you really want to kind of charge the 10% of the value that you're creating for that prospect. Okay, now the next one we want to look at is a project fee or a flat rate, where you're looking at, if you're a writer, you might be charging for a piece of content. Now, this is a good way because what it also does, it allows you to kind of know exactly what you're getting into from the outset. So you've kind of come out with, look, this is how much we charge for an 800 word blog, or this is how much we charge to write a press release, or this is how much we charge to run a Google AdWords campaign each month. And it's kind of like, it's a set project fee, and that's exactly what you're gonna be doing. However, the drawbacks with that is that as you're working with clients, the goalpost can move. And typically, it's very, very hard to say to a client, oh, look, the goalpost has moved, so we're gonna be charging you X. In their mind, they've paid for a particular project and for you to deliver that. So the advantage for that is that, this is how you're getting paid for the project, regardless of how long it kind of, takes to do that. If you're more efficient, you're still gonna get that project fee. However, if you go through like a slump where you're not as, productive, you're also still gonna get that project fee. So the next model that we wanna look at for is, if you're a digital marketing consultant, a typical pricing model is a percentage of the ad spend or a percentage of the media buy, or whatever it might be, okay? Now, that ranges anywhere from low single digit numbers up to, 10, 20, or 30%. depending on your level of skill and how good you are at the service that you provide. And this can be good because as you scale a client's ad spend, there's also more work that's involved, and you're also compensated to make it work and to get them spending more because you're getting a percentage of the ad spend. However, if you go down this model, I would really recommend you also packaging up a retainer-based fee, which moves us to the next part of the pricing equation. And this is the model and the business model that I suggest the most, is really looking at a retainer-based fee. And the reason for that is, one of the things that's really attractive about a consultancy business is that it is a cash flow business, because you get paid straight away and you can build a book of recurring cash flow. And a retainer-based model really allows you to do that better than any of the other models. So you might know, okay, I've got these 3 clients and they all pay me $2,000 a month. You know that the next month, without selling anything, that your business will do $6,000 in revenue. So it's nice and secure, and also it's not tied to specifically hourly output deliverables, right? It's again more tied to the value creation model. So this is really what I suggest that you do, is kind of looking at how you can kind of bolt on that retainer-based fee, because that's really where a lot of value lies in the business. And an advanced tip on that, and really where I see the market going, is really on the results-based pricing. So the typical thing that we like to look at is kind of having a set retainer-based pricing model, whether that's 2, 3, 5 grand a month, whatever it is, that you feel is a good representation of the value that you're providing to that client, is then look at having a performance aspect attached to that. So if you're a business consultant, you might be saying, we charge $4,000 as a monthly retainer, plus we get 2% of gross sales in the increase that we provide. So that's how you, or maybe doing a pay per lead basis and say, we charge $2,000 a month, and then we'll also be paid $15 for each lead that we generate for your business. But I suggest that if you're advanced and you're really looking at ways you can kind of uncap your earning potentials, you really need to start thinking about what is a performance metric that you can attach to your pricing model. So there's the kind of different pricing models that are really available to you. And so you don't get overwhelmed, I highly suggest that you just start somewhere. You can always change and pivot these as you move through the process. And this is really about gaining confidence for yourself in terms of the value that you provide. And a bit of a nod to what I was talking about before, which is, you really want to have your pricing represent about 10% of the value that you provide to your prospect. So if you're solving a problem that is worth $10,000, to a potential client, then you want to charge, a monthly retainer of $1,000 a month. And a great example to illustrate that is, just think about if you have a production line, like a factory that is running, and there's multiple different parts going on, and that factory is currently not running because there is an issue with some of the machinery in there. And every single hour that factory isn't running and that production line isn't running, that business is losing $100,000 an hour. So, they've had all of these kind of engineers come in and really try to figure out what's going on and solve this thing to get this production line up and running. And they're charging hourly rates and day rates, but they're not able to kind of achieve the end result that that prospect wants. And their patience is wearing thin. They're losing hundreds of thousands, if not millions of dollars a day. And you get one highly trained razor sharp engineer who comes in and he knows exactly what the problem is, right? He knows exactly where to look, and he comes in and within 15 minutes, he puts the part in the exact right place, and the production line is back up and running. And the company is not losing hundreds of thousands of dollars an hour anymore. And things are running smoothly. Should that engineer just be charging them for 15 hours of his time? No, because his ability to be able to go in there and problem solve and fix these things is a result of becoming a master in his craft. So if he saved that company hundreds of thousands of dollars an hour, I'm sure that if he was to charge them $50,000 to solve that problem in the greater scheme of things, that's gonna be something they're gonna be happy, because it's being solved. Like, they've solved the problem of losing hundreds of thousands of dollars per hour. So that's really the way that I want you to think about. I really want you to think about how big of a problem is this for the person, and how big of a problem and how motivated are they to solving this, and what would it mean to them if they were to solve this, and what is the kind of value based around that, and then just charge 10% of that. So you're always charging a lot less than the value that you're providing to that marketplace, and that will always leave everybody walking away from that situation feeling very, very good about the outcome on both different sides of the equation. Now, what I want you to do is go ahead and spend the next 10 to 20 minutes and really just taking those first steps as you kind of packaging up your offer and going out there and selling it to your marketplace. So go ahead and do that, and we'll see you in the next video.